And now the ladies say, I think I like that.
Hello everyone. Last but not least, Rashied McDuffie. He's actually going to round out this season for How I Came Up. I'm your host, Sam Hill, Career Change Guru, and we're so excited to share with you his story. Your favorite attorney, Rashied McDuffie. How he grew up here in Buffalo, New York, and then also how he became an attorney. Now let's get to it. This is How I Came Up.
My name is Rashied H. McDuffie. I am from the Queen City, none other than Buffalo, New York. For me, I grew up in Buffalo. I grew up mostly on the east side. I think as a youth, I spent a lot of time on Cedar Street downtown in Buffalo, where it was about 10 or 15 minutes from my elementary schools. I started out at St. Columba. I then went across the street to Academic Challenge Center, school number 6. From there, I went to high school at Seneca High School, did my thing there, and I just want to touch on my high school experience right now, because that to me was where my level of success started. I was one of those kids that really wasn't into school. I really just wanted to get through it. I was more into video games, more into playing, and I really just didn't want to do school. I really didn't want to apply myself. I really didn't want to be bothered. And then I had a guidance counselor really curse me out. And she was like, you out here playing in class and laughing and having a good time, and you don't realize you could be the number one student in your class. I was like, well, I don't want to be the number one student. I don't want to do that. Well, that's the problem. You could be and you should be. You're smarter than these other kids and you're not even applying yourself. Here you are playing in class, getting 90s, 95s. Just imagine if you really pushed yourself, what you could do. So, I left there fuming, like, who the hell she thinks you don't talk to me like that. My mom probably would say something like that. But you don't get to talk to me like that. I ain't about school. I don't want to do school. But then I went home and I thought about it and I said, let me take her up on that. Let me see what that challenge would look like. And I graduated from high school 4th in my class, right? After I really started to take that seriously, boom, honor societies, math league, all of that stuff. And then she played me again. She was like, okay, well, since you did so good in high school, you got to go to college now. Just, no, lady, we ain't agreed to all that. Just apply one time. Before you know it, one application became 5, 5 became 10, 10 became 20, and I got into 16 schools out of those 20. Ended up going to UB, was in an honors program there. Graduated in the top 20% of my class, graduated with honors. Took a break after that and said, I just want to chill for a minute, just want to do some work, as opposed to going right to law school or wherever else I'm trying to go. So I took 3 years off. I worked at City Hall for a councilman at that time by the name of Antoine Thompson. He went on to become a senator. As he was elevating, I was elevating too. So I went down to Miami, where I attended University of Miami. I am definitely none other than a full-on hurricane. Absolutely. Got my law degree there, did my law license in Florida and New York. Have been working in law and politics since then. So I'm grateful that not only do I get to come back home in Buffalo and just display all of that greatness, I got these other experiences in other cities that help me move how I move here. And you just really, really hungry, you really grind, because you're always thinking about somebody else that might push hard as you do, might push a little better, faster, stronger. And you damn sure ain't gonna let them beat you. I'm gonna be number one, period.
Hi, my name is Shamari James, co-founder and CEO of Equity Now, Inc., nonprofit charter management organization to Legends Charter School. And our mission, we believe in expediting change. So we provide, as a charter management organization, services to Legends Charter School. So every single kid in our school receives a stock portfolio. It's not just enough to grow your wealth, but you also need to sustain your wealth. So we're fundamentally focused on ensuring that we are seeing that there is competency exercise with social and emotional learning within our school and in the communities that we serve. So now that you've seen and heard about Equity Now, Inc., I hope that you're wondering, how can you help? Please visit us at www.equitynowinc.org to support us, to donate to us, to become a partner, or even collaborate. We're also on all social media at Equity Now, Inc. We appreciate you. Look forward to working with you.
Our family was in a weird space where we weren't poor enough to get free lunch, but we weren't good enough to pay for lunch every day. We're kind of in that weird area. So there were days I didn't eat lunch. There were days that, the outfit didn't come together, shoes didn't come together and stuff like that. And you're looking at your counterparts and they seem good, at least. Everybody, I think at that time, is more visual. And so if you look good, then you are good. But I definitely have realized from my experiences, that's not always the case. Law school, huge challenge. I was as broke could be. I had moved in law school about 3 to 6 times because you live in here, you can't afford your rent. You're in another place and I don't even have an air mattress. I'm like straight on a box spring, straight on the floor, something like that. But knowing the vision that comes with it and really, again, feeling a moment of, do you measure up? Because now it wasn't measuring up to my brother, it's measuring up to colleagues in my classroom who, your mom was a lawyer, your uncle, your dad, you come into school with your $30,000 tuition check, and I'm like, how am I gonna make this happen? I'm barely doing rent in groceries, and you're driving a BMW back then, before law school, before your law license. So those have always been challenges for me, and just how you relate to people after that. Like, as you elevate in your education, your mind, your experiences elevate, and you really find out some of the people that you have been the closest to no longer fit in your life. I'm such a loyal person to the people I rock out with. I believe in you standing firm and being there with them. And so the notion of leaving some people behind that I have had relationships with, that was a tough one for me. I remember coming back to Buffalo, maybe my second year of law school, and just driving through my old neighborhood and just thinking about people who didn't make it, and just pulling over and being like, why me? How am I going to Yale for the summer and this person's in this situation? How am I doing what I'm doing and living in Miami? It didn't seem fair, and it didn't make sense to me, but I had to understand and really believe all of this stuff has had to be rooted in a bigger experience. I think about some of the rough experiences I've had in my mother's bar. One very specific instance was when I had a gun pulled on me. I'm behind the bar working, and this guy decided, I'm about to stick y'all up, and literally put a gun to me. And having your life flash before you and realizing in the blink of an eye, this whole thing could be gone, and law degrees and licenses and all you got in mind, none of that matters in that moment. What does matter for me in that moment is, when it's your time, you're gonna go. And 2, while you're here, you better make the best of every single moment that you get. Another challenge I had, getting through the Florida bar, was tough for me. I wasn't the student that did the most amazing in law school. I was a okay C+B student in law school. And I struggled through that Florida bar. I had to take it 4 times. I failed at 3 of those 4. I passed it on the 4th time. The tenacity, the diligence that has to go into picking yourself back up after failing the bar exam, when you're the kind of person that has always succeeded when you applied yourself, you're damn near suicidal. You have, in your mind, what value could you possibly have? In your mind, how could I be a lawyer when I can't even get through this? Like, what was I kidding myself all these years? Am I not as smart as I thought? Am I not as hardworking as I thought? Like, you have every one of those thoughts. You don't feel like you're good enough. You don't feel like you're measuring up. And in the meantime, everybody around you is excelling. Everybody around you has now started their careers and their families, commanding certain salaries. And there you are sitting at a table, in my case, with a $25 budget for the week, studying for a bar exam. That was a huge slap in the face for me. It's a huge challenge. And then what's worse about it for me, coming home and hearing all of the negative comments from people. Oh, look at you. I thought you were just coming home for vacation. Are you a lawyer yet? Look at this. That capitalizing compounds it. And now, even in my career as a lawyer, as a business person, walking into the room, being a young Black man in a space where most of my counterparts and my colleagues is dominated by older white men. It's dominated by the majority culture. It's dominated by white supremacy. It's real. I mean, so I've been in courtrooms and people have said stuff to me that, oh, I didn't realize you were a lawyer. Are you a defendant? I've had an actual judge point over to me. Oh, hi, such and such. Is that your defendant with you? So the struggle doesn't ever stop. You know, I take pride in self-care and enjoying myself, vacations, great time with family, food, relationships, and all that. But it's never too far out of my mind that at any given moment, everything that you have worked so hard for can be taken from you. And so you always got to push. You always got to be just ready for that next decision. You always got to be ready for that next deal. You always got to stay sharp, because we don't get the same breaks that those in the majority get. And to be honest with you, the tougher people on me has usually been my own people. That has been tough to swallow. Family members who don't support you, friends, so-called friends who don't support you. That's been a difficult part of the process, especially when in your head you have offered that level of support. So I've had challenges growing up. I continue to have challenges as a lawyer. I have no belief that those challenges are going to stop, but I'm also the kind of person that the hotter the pot gets, the more focused I get and the better I get and the more refined I get. So keep throwing that negativity, keep throwing that bad energy so I can, like Biggie said, turn your negative into a positive.
If you've been hurt in a car accident, call 716-390-9592. Our lawyers can help you get money. Had your civil rights or contract rights violated, stopped or wrongfully detained by the police? Call us now, 716-390-9592. Got an issue with your landlord or tenant? Call us now, 716-390-9592. Call RHM Consulting, 716-390-9592. That's 716-390-9592.
I'm Rashied H. McDuffie, and I approve this message. I'm an attorney by trade. I have been a practitioner in the state of Florida since 2012. I took the bar there, passed that one. Then I came on home and I studied and passed the New York State Bar the very first time that I took it. So now I'm duly licensed in Florida and in New York. It's only going to start there. It's only going to grow there. There are other cities and other jurisdictions I want and I'm going to have. I am blessed to be a full-time attorney for the city of Buffalo. My practice group is counsel group and labor issues. So that means for police and fire, I oversee how their conduct is in other departments. Is there a disciplinary issue that we need to deal with? Is there a property that the city is looking to sell or to lease to somebody? I deal with landlord-tenant issues. I have a lot of clients who are probably listening and will see this or know people that want to start businesses. And they say, yo, if you could do it, I could do it. I show you how to start your business, and then I show you how to make it financially viable. Well, I'm going to teach you the difference between a W-2 income and a 1099 income. So those are the things that I do to become a mogul. I think the law is the first way I get there, but I'm a business person at heart as well, and I'm a community person. I think that whatever I apply myself to, I'm going to be amazing at it. And then my goal is to kick that door so far down that the next Rashied is coming, that the next person is coming who somebody counting out and they're going to read about and see about. That's really my move. It's very easy to look at somebody else and say, what do you think? Like, I'm up here, you down there, you're a peasant, please, look at you. I went to law school, I graduated, I got Harvard under my belt, Yale under my belt. Who is you? I'm like, beat it. I drive a Mercedes. Like, it's easy to give it up like that. But to me, the true power is in the legacy that you build. It's not just Rashied, the next lawyer, Rashied, the next doctor, Rashied, the next senator, judge. It is in and look 10 years out at all of the new Rashieds that have come into the process by virtue of the fact that they were touched by his experience, by virtue of the fact that the realness that he brought, the authenticity that he brought, the kindness and the humanity he brought, created all these other experiences for people who never once saw their power, who never once took control of their lives, and now realize it's up to me to determine the course and the trajectory of my life and those that follow behind me. That's the true power that I think you get. And I think there are a number of people in the process that I look to as good advisors that show me that. Bishop Darius Pridgeon, one of them. The mayor is somebody I look at. Crystal Peoples-Stokes, April Baskin. I could go on with the people, Senator Kennedy, people who I look to for that guidance. But also the other piece of it is people who hold you accountable. If you're going down the wrong road and I'm really good with you, I got to have a moment with you. I don't have to embarrass you publicly, but I got to have a moment because I know your greatness. And if your greatness is sending us in the wrong direction and it's going to impact you and everybody else, then I have a responsibility to make sure that your greatness is converted in a way that works. So it's a two-parter. It's be real enough to step out there and really stand in firmly in your truth. Be real enough to have people around you that support that mission. And a part of that support sometimes is, come shut the door. We really got to talk about this in a way that you ain't gonna like, but you'll appreciate later. I have had some beautiful moments with family, and I've had some not so beautiful moments with family. One of the most beautiful experiences that I got to share with my immediate and my extended family was my Ice Blue party, and honoring 10 of the matriarchs and patriarchs in our family and our community. And one of them, Mrs. Davis, Phil's granny, who was my granny. One of them, my Aunt Susie, who she would have been 95 or 96. She actually passed away. One of them was Lorna C. Hill, who actually passed away as well. Like, those are the people who are a part of my family, part of my lineage. And I feel like who really, really, when I'm having a rough day, because whatever profession you in, you're going to have a rough day. Some days you're going to lay there and be like, why am I doing this? Like, y'all don't even appreciate what I'm doing. You're talking crazy about me. You're trying to ruin my reputation. You're trying to jam my money up. I ain't got to deal with it. Why am I doing this? You need that inner energy to propel you to that next level, that inner energy that's going to keep pushing you forward. And in my experience, my family has been a bedrock of, you got this. Oh, we failed the bar. Guess what? We taking it again. Oh, you ain't get the result on that case that you wanted. You are next time. You want to throw a party honoring your community? What you need me to do, right? Those have been the experiences with my family, and of course some negative ones too, of course. But by and large, way more positive experiences. By and large, way more love and support demonstrated. By and large, way more energy coming my way. Pushing me out in the community and letting other people know that I'm good. By and large, way more of that as a family. And just looking at all of my experiences, I'm not a person that feels like, I'm only going to have good days. I know it's going to be some crazy days too. And I welcome those crazy days because they're just going to make me even better for those good days. So it's been nothing but love, really. The end game for me is a question mark. The beautiful thing about having a number of skills and being able to boss up in law, government, politics, business is your avenues are open. I can tell you for certain there are 3 things that are resonating with my spirit at this moment. Definitely one is going to the bench. Another one would be a national law firm where I have tentacles, where I have relationships, where I have support staff and attorneys in Buffalo, Miami, DC, Houston, Atlanta. I can definitely see that move. And I can also see myself getting more and more involved on the community end. I started with scholarships. I started with my Ice Blue party. I'm going to keep elevating, keep promoting that. And I am deliberately looking for people who have not been in the spotlights, people in the shadows, people who don't see their power and are ready to boss up and make some things happen. Those are people I'm deliberately looking for. I also see myself on the business side, getting more involved on residential real estate, purchasing more property, doing more investments, and really just sharing that knowledge. And as I said, sharing it in a way where people receive it, because I think that when my mother passed away in 2015, I had no idea how my life was going to change. You know, obviously not having moms is one level, but on another level, my mother was so organized with, you know, having her affairs together, leaving money behind, leaving property behind, that it's now caused me to think about what I can do and how I can do it better. Before that, I was a tenant, always renting property from somebody. Now I am a full-on owner of property, right? A full-on owner. And so why does that matter? What is that good? What you get out of that? When you build equity in your home, you know, as you might know from your own experiences, now you got 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, whatever you got in your house to make some great moves. Buy a business, send your kids to certain schools, right? Buy a house in another area and do investments. Support your spouse taking a year or two off to get their educational things together. You get a certain level, you know, go on certain vacations that you might not have ever thought about. There's a certain level of freedom that comes with financial stability that I want the people around me to also experience with me. And I'm just thinking back to my own experience. I remember very clearly working for Krista Rodriguez, being her executive assistant, and making maybe 20,000, 30,000 a year, and having a financial person sit down with me and say, oh, you know, I want to talk to you about investments. And I thought, you want to talk to who about investments? Like, I make 20,000, not like I'm barely eating and breathing. What you talk to me about an investment? Okay, you can talk if you want to, but I ain't giving you no money. Like, have you lost your mind? And just saying, you know what? Okay, this lady's crazy enough to meet with me. Let me be crazy enough to put $500 down, but that's it, lady. I ain't giving you you getting $500. That's it. I can't afford this. I'm broke. I got student loans. You know, I had just moved back to Buffalo. I didn't have a job for a while. My car note was racking up. Somebody had just broken my car. Here I am studying for the bar exam. Somebody broke in my car and stole my bar books. And I didn't even have enough money to afford getting my window fixed. My insurance was all jammed up. My accounts were all jammed up. And you talking to me about investing? Like, lady, no. But I gave her $500. And then, you know, one of the things I really respected, and you might hear this about hairdressers, when you got a really good hairdresser for a woman that blesses her hair grows healthy and it gets long and vibrant. Well, I felt the same way about my bank account with this woman, you know, Linda Banks over at AXA Advisors. And she was like, oh, $500, you're doing so good. You're doing so good. Let's just try, maybe if you're at 10%, let's try 13%. And oh my God, you're doing so good. This is great. Now before you know it, she done got me up to invest in 25% of every paycheck I get. And what I love about that is people in our city see me and they're like, oh my God, you always new outfits, driving Mercedes, fur coats, that you must be spending every dime that you got. No, because I got somebody like her whispering in my ear, yo, you ain't got to put 10,000 down to be bossed up and do this. You ain't got to put 100,000 down your house down. Start with 500. 500 turns into 1,000. 1,000 turns into this number, and then it just grows and grows and grows and compounds and compounds and compounds. Your 500 comes 1,000. Your 1,000 goes with this. It compounds together. Before you know it, you cruising, but that money steadily accumulating. So that's what I get from it. Is that's the next move for me. I ain't taking my foot off the gas. I'm taking some people that are really dedicated going to that next level with me. But it's not going to be just, oh, they were already successful. They were already going to do their thing. No, I want to see people who don't know what it feels like to win, not just win, sustainable win, and now bossing up to bring somebody else with them that never really thought about taking control and getting there. That's the power for me. All good with my colleagues doing great already, but the power for me is never saw this for myself and now look at me. That's the real power for me. Good afternoon. My name is Rashied H. McDuffie, and I am an attorney here in Buffalo. I work for the city where I defend us against lawsuits. But what I really do is change people's lives, because the decisions that I make as a prosecutor, as a real estate attorney, as a contractor, as someone who manages and influences power, is I look to the least of us and say, how do I make the most from their situations? The Hall for me is about being a legal professional in government and getting the world to see that unique view. It's one thing to be a government employee, it's another thing to be a legal scholar and a legal professional. But when you put the worlds together, you are constantly going in and out of business, in and out of community, in and out of legal, in and out of government. And when you're given legal advice, you are giving it to a client with all of those other factors in mind. Those are the kind of real moments that you got to have with your clients, where you're going, it's illegal. You're giving them legal advice, but you're also giving them the holistic picture of, don't go over there. Don't make a fool out of yourself, because you get to see all of these other angles. The Hall, to me, is exactly that experience. It is a nuanced approach to the law. And what you get to see from the show, you get to see me as a lawyer, but you get to see me as a person. And the reason that you get to see that all play out is because in any given moment, you're going from one realm right back to the other. And I wanted people involved with the show that are multi-dimensional, that you're great at what you do. You are known for your reputation of excellence in what you do, but you're a real person that people are not going to just watch the show and say, okay, so all season long, all you're gonna do is get married. Okay, so all season long, all you're gonna do is cheat on your baby mama. Like, those to me are not the most exciting experiences. I want people that have tons of stuff going on. You creating a business, you might be going through a divorce too. You creating a business and you figuring out a situation with, where you're gonna relocate to. Layer after layer, that's what the Hall is about. And we want realistic people there making that happen, and in a way that people can relate to it and are eager to see where we're going next with it. So it's a non-traditional approach. We're not going to just go through a whole season and then go on a trip somewhere and then go on another trip. And no, this is going to be real life. It's going to be stuff that is relevant and is happening right now. And I think people are going to be really excited to see it. You can reach me on social media. I will admit, I am not the social media guru. So for those of you out there in IG land, you can contact me on my IG, Rashied McDuffie, and I have about 1,000 followers. I am actively and intentionally trying to do better at that. I am, maybe it's my age, but I'm far more active on my Facebook, which is Rashied Hamed, Hamid McDuffie. I'm on there routinely. I'm on there every day. I have maxed out on friends, so I cannot add you as a friend. You can definitely follow me. My phone number is 716-390-9592. And so the final way that I think that you're able to reach me is via my email. And that's going to be my first name, Rashied, McDuffie, McDuffie, not YIE, @gmail.com. So those are the ways to reach me. I also have a website, RHM Consulting LLC. I am the managing partner of RHM Consulting LLC. We handle all of those practice groups that you heard about earlier, from contracts to political issues, to landlord-tenant issues, to settlement agency, to handling some criminal law matters and family law and divorce matters. You need us, we got you. And if we, for some reason, can't handle an issue for you, we'll be upfront enough to tell you, not really our thing, but here's who you talk to instead. This is your favorite lawyer, Rashied H. McDuffie, and this is how I came up.
Maria, Radio Red Rocks, Red.
This is Addison Henderson.
I'm Danielle Jackson.
It's Ponzo Houdini.
And this is how I came up.
I'm the career change guru, Sam Hill, and host of How I Came Up. This season, we have entertainers, entrepreneurs, and educators. Season 3 of How I Came Up is going to be extraordinary. Now let's get to it. This is How I Came Up.